Black and Curious. I'm Kandron,
Hey, hey, it is Deja.
and we are back. Uh, if you've never been here before, welcome. We do a mixture of pop culture and real life and how all of those things intersect. And today we are talking long distance relationships.
Hmm.
So if you are watching Ready to Love, we recap it on our reality recap. So join in, join in the fun on Monday nights. Um, but we have a couple who seems very into each other, very genuine in Clifton and Joi, and Joi works 6 months out of the year in another country.
Yep.
And I, yeah, I hope they work out. I don't know that they will because I think that's going to be a long time. Um, but I wanted to have a bigger conversation about long distance relationships. What say you?
So before we actually get into the meat of it, what are you drinking, darling?
Oh, I'm having a Paloma.
Nice. So today I have a little strawberry margarita and some Dobel tequila. So yay.
Excellent. Similar.
So for the long distance of it all, I feel like a lot of my intimate relationships over the last couple of years or like dating situations have been long distance. And so
Mm,
at this stage in life, I am not really interested in doing long distance. I think that those relationships can work if you work them, but at some point you're going to get to the crossroads where you need to either shit or get off the pot. And what I mean by that is like either someone's going to move to be closer to the other so that you can really make this relationship sustainable. I don't think that you could be in a long distance relationship beyond a year.
I think it depends on what you want. I honestly, I have never been in a true, gosh, I have one hair sticking up. I have never been in a true long distance relationship. Um, I did date someone at a distance, but it never really turned into a full relationship, so that doesn't really count.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I'd like it. I'm a person who needs exorbitant amounts of alone time, and a lot of freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it would suit me very well to have and like it brings a fresh energy like when you are together. So I think I would like it.
I think beyond a year, no dice. Because like
I
to
think I could do
Clifton's
it on the
point,
long term.
um, Clifton was very much like I'm a person who, loves to cuddle and closeness and like most men, their love language is physical touch. Like that's usually like right at the top of the list. And so I think that in their case, as much as Joy is gonna fight for it, um, and if I was in Joy's position, I think that I would try to fight for it also. But like that's just really hard to start your relationship off that way.
Yeah. I don't think I agree with you. I think Clifton has expressed that he is a touchy-feely person. But again, like I
Mhm.
said, I think it depends on the type of personality you have and also like those things. Like, are you a touchy-feely person? If you're not a touchy-feely person, it's not going to bother you that
Mm.
your partner isn't there as long as you're connecting, over the phone or whatever. And that's sort of how I am. I'm not like super touchy-feely, whatever. But if the person is, then it's going to bother them. So I think it's just one of those things that you have to be like very. It has to suit you. Like I don't think it suits everybody, but I think it suits some people fine,
Yeah.
and it would just have to suit you. Like I've known even people who travel for work or people who work out of state, and they're there and they go home to their family on the weekends, and that's enough, and it is lovely. They enjoy each other. Another a good example of this is Ina Garten,
Oh
my
yeah. Her
queen,
husband works in the city, and then he
my
comes
queen.
home. Yeah.
Ina lives in the Hamptons. Her husband works at Yale. He's a professor there. And she just seems like she has such a full life, even when he's not there. And when
Yeah.
he's there, they dote on each other, they enjoy each other. And when he's not there, she continues on having a full life. And I think that's like a prime example of someone, you know, who it works for them. They don't have kids together. And that's
Yeah.
part of it is, her saying
That
like
makes it
they can have,
easier.
yeah, they don't have she I remember her in an interview saying she doesn't have things to like complicate their relationship. They don't have kids. I don't think they have pets. It's just the two of them. So they can make their own rules of how they want things to be. And
Think
that
after a certain age in life, absolutely that is doable if that is what it suits you, as you said, right?
no, and it
But
has been most of their marriage.
but I don't think I feel like they because her husband has a child, so I think that they got married later in life.
No, they didn't. She was very young when they got married. She was like 18.
Oh, why do I think that he has a child?
I don't think he has a kid.
I
I
don't
could be
know.
wrong
Whatever.
about that. They got married at like 18.
Maybe
She
she
had a
was talking about like a niece or something. I remember her talking about someone coming that was coming home from college, and it
no,
wasn't. It
that
was
was
like a
like a friend's child.
okay. So I was like, maybe I'm like,
Yeah.
I watch her like sporadically.
No, they married
So
very young. They lived their life together. They did DC. Like she was, Ina Garten was like actually a very smart lady. Worked for one of these administrations back in the day. I don't remember which one, but and was like some sort of scientist or something. They traveled together. They did the thing, and then when she wanted to open up a food store, they moved to the Hamptons. He was teaching at Yale. Like he's been teaching at Yale a long time. I actually know somebody who was a student of his. But I think this has been most of their life together. And like I said, I just think you have to have somebody who's suited for it.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think from my perspective, I grew up in a household that was similar in the sense of like my father was a long distance driver, so he would be gone the whole week,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would be home on the weekends, and then he would be home typically like for the week of Christmas,
Yeah.
um and I think Thanksgiving, and those would be the only times of the year that he was home and off or whatever.
Yeah.
And so growing up that way, I am very accustomed, which I realized that like I'm very accustomed to not having somebody present, like not having a male present all of the time. But I feel like for me, I would want the spontaneity of being able to say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And knowing that we could do that. Like I would get bored with um constantly having to plan out everything. And like the last person that I dated that lived like 2.5, maybe 3 hours, because he was in the DMV, but on the Maryland side of the DMV. So
Right.
depending on the traffic, it could be 3 hours. Um, and he owned a couple of properties here, so he was here quite often, which in the beginning it made things fine. Like I wasn't so bothered by it, but like after a while it's just kind of like I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, I think you have to be suited for it. And I think, spontaneity is important to you, but like I like a good plan. Give me the plan. So,
I like structure and planning also, but I think I just got bored. And maybe he just wasn't the right person, like
it's possible. And honestly, maybe you just don't have the right personality type for that. Like I said, it's not for everybody. I think it would be fine for me, but that's because I'm just more to myself and I'm used to being by myself.
I mean, me
And
too. That's
no, I'm saying like I grew up, I'm an only child. It was me and
me
my
too.
mom. My mom, you're not. My mom worked a lot. I was stayed at home a lot by myself. Like it was very, you know, I am very self-contained. I lived on my own for a really long time. Like I'm very self-contained. So I don't need a lot. And I think that a long distance relationship would work well for me, but it's not for everybody.
I think that in the experiences that you made mention of were similar in the sense that no, I am not an only child, but because my sister is we have such a large age gap,
Right.
I was by myself.
I mean,
So,
fair.
like I'm used to, at the same token, also being like to myself and in my own space, in my own bubble, because I didn't have to worry about somebody else. That's one of the conversations that I was having with my mom probably sometime last year when I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I, have to cohabitate with my significant other, because I'm so self-contained in the sense of
Yeah.
like I have my own routines and the way that I want to do things. And like if somebody comes in and throws my shit off, I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, get out of here.
So, anyways, like I said, I just thought it would be an interesting conversation of like length of time I think I could probably do it for a longer length of time than most, but
If I had the right
um,
person, I would dare say that I maybe. But I feel like after a year, I would get bored of this routine. I feel like I would need something else.
yeah.
So y'all let us
So
know. Drop down in the comments.
y'all think? Let us know if you think that Clifton and Joy are going to make it in specific. I'm curious about that, and if you've had any experience with a long-term relationship, especially if it went beyond a year. I'd love to hear about that.
Clifton Joy's situation is unique because she works 6 months out of the year in Mexico, so she's like completely out of the country. It's not like full. I mean, it's
It's really
long distance, but it's like the
not. I
ultimate.
mean, is it unique? Because military people do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
They're gone 6 months regardless.
yeah, maybe. It depends on the branch.
Um, Army, Navy,
Because
Marine
like so
Corps.
the only way that so with the army, they're gonna be gone for 6 months, say that they are like in a war zone area, and that's how long their tour is, 6, 9, 10, whatever the case may be. But like generally that if you gone, you're gonna be gone for a couple of weeks for something, or and then you just move to a whole new location. That's been my experience
True.
with people in the military. Like those are the only ones that I know that will go out and do outside of like the Navy people where they'll be out to sea for however long.
Yeah, Navy
Else it's kind of
definitely.
stationary.
Yeah, but growing up in a military area, you see this all the time where people are transient, their parents are out to sea or their parents are gone on deployment or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like we don't necessarily think about that as a traditional long distance relationship, but it is.
Yeah, I think maybe in that sense, like people are married. Maybe we're talking about more like the dating phase of a relationship as it relates to Clifton and Joy. They met
Yes.
for what 60 days. They're together, dating and seeing each other, and then she's leaving to go to Mexico, and that's the start of basically this is the start of their relationship. Like that's
Yeah.
what.
I think that's going to be tough. But I think, and I'm surprised they honestly even let her on the show, which is part of my issue with this show now these days because it doesn't feel real anymore. Um,
How's that?
what do you mean?
Like in the sense of like surprised that she's gotten on the show. Like what? Why is what's the surprise about?
Because she's going to be gone for 6 months out of the year. If they're trying to pair people with like truly ready for love, truly ready to settle down, have relate like long-term relationships together, I am surprised that they put somebody who is gone 6 months out of the year on the show.
Hmm. I don't know. I think her
This isn't.
storyline, it sucks that they presented that shit so late in the game.
Yeah, I
But I
wish they had
think
have
that
said it earlier.
it makes it it makes it more interesting. I would like to see like even if, which is never gonna happen, right? But like if y'all do this, pay us, Black and Curious, okay? But I would like to see like a spinoff of the two of them because their connection seems so genuine.
Yeah, it
You
does.
know?
But as we said, like starting a relationship when you're getting ready to leave the area for 6 months
It's
does not seem like a recipe for success. And so I don't know why they would let somebody up here who is about to leave the area and be out of the country for 6 months as soon as this show wraps. That does not seem like a recipe for success to me.
yeah, I don't disagree.
So, anyways, like we said, drop down in the comments, get in on the
Please.
conversation.
Let us know what you think. Have you dated someone long distance? How long did it last? Or like what was the time frame before you either should have got off the pot? And make sure that you are following us on all of our social medias and check out
Yes.
blackandcurious.com. Bye y'all.
Bye guys.